That was rude. I'm sorry.
This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Internet world, West Alabama. How we doing today on a home day? It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. Halfway through the month of April. Oh, my Lord, it's just flying by. Hope you and yours are having a great day, having a great big week. Right here on the Bama Central YouTube channel, on the Bama Central Facebook page. You're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, you can find the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We're proudly presented by Derek Daniels State Farm Insurance right here off McFarland Boulevard. We're in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios, bringing you this live today. We're also brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. Check out Purple Turtle Roofing at roofturtle.com for all of your roofing needs. You can schedule your free roof inspection by visiting them online today at roofturtle.com. We're going to have a little bit of fun today with Theo. We're going to talk about Ty Simpson just a little bit. We're 1 week. A week and a day away from NFL Draft Day. So excited about the first round of the NFL Draft next week. Getting very, very excited. I am getting very excited about that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get a little recap of baseball last night. We're going to talk about some draft fits for most of the Alabama guys. And I'll have a little bit of fun on the voicemail line. You can call the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. I know I've got a voicemail from Daxon from Everett right there, so we will take their voicemails and approach their topics with as much care as we can, having a lot of fun. So with that, follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _. Good morning, Theo. How we doing, sir?
Doing great today, Joe. Got to watch some Alabama baseball yesterday, coming up with a sloppy win, but also a fun one. A lot of freshmen stepped up, made some big plays. First career homer for Andrew Purdy, the freshman first baseman. He drove in 5 runs. Caleb Barnett had a bases clearing triple, 3 RBI. Just a fun day up in Birmingham for the Tide on the Diamond.
Got it done. Well, it was a fun day for the men's baseball, for not for women.
Not on the softball Diamond.
Oh man, Alabama ladies losing 3-2 yesterday to Samford, and the Alabama internet sphere goes insane.
It was almost relieving for me to see that this is normal for all the Diamond sports, that softball is capable of the kind of crash outs that baseball's been having on X recently. So at least we know it's consistent.
Well, right. And maybe it helps contextualize that, a couple of midweek losses, not that big of a deal. Everybody's going to lose their brains. I think it's going to be A-okay for this softball team.
You would think that a loss to Samford doesn't derail the season.
Yeah, I would imagine that especially after their recent run of success. You can't be perfect all the time.
No, nobody can.
All right, so baseball wins, softball loses. Who's baseball have this weekend?
We're going to Texas. It's going to be a rough series.
Horns down.
Down in Austin against a very, very good Longhorns team.
Take one game and then take your medicine?
Yeah, I think that's a result you're happy with.
Take one game and keep things close in the other two? Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, it's more so just, man, you had 6 errors last night against UAB. Justin LeBron had another one. You gotta get those cleaned up, man. Like, we're getting to a point in the season where it feels like the errors are increasing instead of decreasing. And you played error-free baseball against Auburn and then turned around, and now we're back to where we were earlier in the season. So I think that's hopefully you got them all out of your system in the midweek. And if you commit all your errors on Tuesday and not on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're obviously happy with it. But that's a big thing to watch. And also the bullpen, I think, showed some resilience last night. Sam Mitchell, who'd struggled, had some came in a high leverage moment and took care of business. Bullpen's got to be a little bit better. Give yourself a chance. 1-2 without, like you said, an embarrassment, a bullpen implosion, a bunch of errors. You're happy.
There we go. So we'll see if the boys can get it done as they head out to Austin this week. And want to keep the vibes mostly pretty high. It was swept by Arkansas, but mostly pretty high.
That's the problem. If you were to get swept this weekend, all of a sudden you're down to 8-10 in conference play, and I think the vibes are very, very low again.
Oh no, ebbs and flows of college baseball, ups and downs. Is a long year. So
And you just had very high ups a week ago.
right. You went like what 3 series in a row, 3 sweeps in a row. It was Florida, it was Auburn, it was someone else.
Oklahoma. You took
That's
2
right.
out of 3.
There you go.
And that's the thing. Like, if you somehow took this series, we're right back to where we were.
Riding
you know?
high.
Like, it's
Going to Omaha.
It's a very big swing series as far as the rankings, as far as the SEC standings. Yeah,
You're either going to Omaha this weekend or you're not going at all.
that's just about every weekend.
No postseason at all.
Yeah.
Total implosion. Just demolish the Joe. No baseball ever again in Tuscaloosa.
Demolish the Joe.
Well, that's how some people act.
Yes.
I mean, it's a beautiful. I mean, you can't win every game.
No.
People just translate the 12-0 mentality of football into every other sport. And you lost a game, bums. Why are you even here? Why are you here?
To be fair, there have been a lot of very valid criticisms brought up by the fan base about this team.
What's the most valid? What's the one where you're like, yeah, y'all got a point?
I think the most valid has been some of the talk about the lineup and the attachment to some of the players I think there are moments where we should have been playing freshmen earlier in the season. I think that's been a theme of the season. Caleb Barnett. Look, Jason Torres is struggling at third base. There's no other way to put it. And Caleb Barnett has gotten on base. I've lost track, but he only had he was on base 4 out of 4 at bats entering today's game or yesterday's game. Then he had the 3 RBI double. He's a guy who was the number 24 recruit in the country, the best in the state of Alabama, and a guy who looks like he's ready to play some ball, and we just hadn't seen him to this point. And Rob Vaughn talked yesterday about how he feels like some of these young players are starting to force his hand as far as getting into the games. So I think that would kind of pacify a lot of the complaints about the team, because I think it's been a little overdue for some guys to get in. And you've seen it. Eric Hines, man. He went 8 for 16 last week. He had 2 really just powerful hits in yesterday's game. This is a guy who's ready to be a big-time SEC player. You're starting to see them infiltrate the lineup a lot more. Andrew Purdy, Chase Kroberger being 2 more of those guys.
What's the most absurd criticism? If lineup decisions is the most valid criticism of the team right now, what's the most out of line criticism you're seeing, or the criticism that's about this team that you're like, that's not fair, that's not true, that's not right, that's not a good take? What are you seeing out there that's like, oh man, y'all are being crazy?
Well, I mean, a lot of it just comes down to the evaluation of Rob Vaughn.
Okay.
And a lot of it comes down to people saying, like, oh, Rob Vaughn's not a winning coach. He's too much of a player's coach. I'll ask him in a post-game press conference about a player who's been struggling, and it's always a pretty similar response, right? It's like, oh,
love
this
that
is a
guy.
tough guy. I love him.
Love that guy. Great guy.
What do you want your coach to say, man? Like, come on. That's not a sign of softness or anything. That is, yeah, he's sticking up for his guy that he brought in, that he needs to be a key player over the course of the season. But it's ridiculous to look too much into, what a coach is saying in a press conference about his player. I think there are a lot of concerns that are valid, but I think that pump the brakes on some of the Rob Vaughn pure criticism that's coming out of left field, I think.
I mean, the program has taken 2 steps forward underneath him each year, taking a step each year.
It's just, if this season were to go off the rails for Alabama baseball, if you were to get knocked out in a regional again and get knocked out embarrassingly like 0-2, you have a very similar trend for 3 seasons where it's okay, we're going to get ourselves very highly ranked. We're going to have a lot of momentum early, and then it's going to derail. 3 years, it's not luck. That is a trend, right? I think there's a lot riding on this season. And I think if you think there's noise right now, like, man, it would be amplified a lot in a couple months.
Yeah, that would be a trend, but when you take the 3-year snapshot and you compare it to the last decade and a half, while you're not happy with the 3-year snapshot, it's much better than the last decade and a half.
Yeah, the program's in a good spot. You have a phenomenal 2027 recruiting class. signed. You have some good guys in this next class, including, Taden Kawa came here to play shortstop too.
No, I didn't know that.
That was crazy. I don't think we'll be seeing him on the diamond, but hey, you never know.
He got himself a dual scholarship opportunity, basically. Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, you got to give us a report. Look, Taden Kawa going to replace Justin LeBron after he moves on.
Yeah, we need someone to take over at that spot. I was just looking through the recruiting class yesterday, and I saw that, and that kind of caught me off guard a little.
Taden Evan Kawa.
So is that because I've seen it written as just Taden Kawa in people's articles? Are we supposed to write Taden Evan?
I believe that it's technically Taden-Evan Kawa.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a double middle name or a double first name.
When I write about him in my baseball recaps next year, I'll be sure to.
There you go. Taden Evan Kawa, 3 home runs. 3 home runs. What's a good 10 putouts from shortstop?
0 errors.
There you go. Exactly. So we'll see. Unfortunately, I don't know that he's going to have a future at quarterback at this university. Shortstop might be his better avenue.
And shortstop's not a bad avenue.
No, you can be top 3, top 2 highest paid athletes on campus right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can work out for you right there. We'll see what happens with Taden Kawa. Speaking of quarterbacks, Theo, we want to get into this mock draft with Dane Brugler. Dane Brugler had his full 7-round mock draft, and last week we talked about the 4 offensive players that he projected fairly highly. We'll talk about all 7 rounds, all the players that he has selected from the Crimson Tide to go into the NFL. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Ty Simpson with John Gruden this past week. He was on the Gruden quarterback school 2 days ago, and you can see that video on the YouTube channel. So we're going to talk about that. But let's start with the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. I believe Dax has a couple topics, and we'll take those, and Everett as well. So here is Dax on the voicemail line.
It's Dax. I'm getting y'all a little late on this voicemail, but y'all said in the Monday show that Theo, for some reason, would bet no on Alabama winning a national championship in the next 12 years. I am willing to bet $100 on the fact that Alabama will win a national championship in the next 3 years, okay? And my reasoning, it's dumb, okay? It's dumb, but I'm way too much of an optimist. DeBoer has improved every year since he's been at Bama. Our O-line actually is competent. They are better than last year. Like I said multiple times, I think the defense was stuffing the run that well that it made our run game not look good, which is great because the defense is also marginally improved, like Joe said, every year. Keelan, I really think Keelan is that special, and he's only going to get better than what everybody saw at A-Day. I think the defense, this might be the best defense that Kane Womack has ever had the privilege of coaching. We've got giants everywhere on the field. The shortest guy we had on the defensive line last year was like 6 foot, 6'1". Shortest guy on the defensive line this year is like 6'3", 6'4", something like that. We're going to have like 30% more swatted balls at the line. We're going to be able to stuff the run between the tackles and outside as long as Deontay Pierre wants to do a little more than he did at A-Day. Des Zulu is very versatile, in my opinion. Our corners are not Damani Jackson, so I think we're going to have fantastic run support. Dijon's already showed he's great in run support. And we have a Zabian Brown, we have a Bray Hubbard, we have a Keon Sam, we have an Ivan Taylor. Our defense is going to shut people down this year, and I'm not scared to say it. I'm an arrogant Bama fan, all right. And the O-line, they were, at A-Day, they were opening a lot of holes. The holes were open, a lot more than I saw against any other team last year. Then again, think about this. Last year, like the last 5 games, we played 4 of the top 8 run defenses in the country. That skewed our rushing stats a little bit, just a tad. Not saying that's not an excuse. We sucked last year in the run game. It was abysmal, but the stats were a little skewed. We kind of got a little poo-pooed on that. And again, that could happen again this year, but like I said, our defense is more than good enough to make up for it. And our O-line is way more competent than last year's O-line. Daniel Hill's going to start running through people. Trayshawn Brown's going to be a fantastic addition. E.J. Crowell, I don't know what's going to happen with him because he was in a boot. I'm not expecting anything because he's also a freshman. and our wide receiver core better than last year, in my opinion. Cedarian Morgan's going to break out. I'm telling you, it's going to be a freshman year, and then he's going to have a sophomore slump, and then he's going to go off his junior year. So we're just going to keep getting in these massive recruits. I know that. There's no reason to think that Alabama is not going to win a national championship as long as DeBoer's here. I think his track record has proven enough that he can recruit well enough at Alabama, and his defensive coordinator is good enough. Ryan Grubb, he's very specific. I think he needs a lot of specificity on the O-line to be able to run the scheme that he wants to run, which I think we didn't want to put any outside zone schemes on tape because that's how Washington got their 1,000-yard rushers with the outside runs, and we did not do many at A-Day. So, yeah, this was a ranty one, but Theo, you're wrong. We're winning the Natty in the next 3 or 4 years. I'm telling you, buddy. Roll Tide.
Theo, you're wrong, he says. Are you going to take Dax's $100? He said $100 for. I'm going to bet on Alabama winning in 3 years.
I feel bad taking that bet. Like maybe I'd extend it to maybe we'll meet in the middle at 7 years. Then we got ourselves a deal. I'd feel really bad taking the money. It's like taking candy from a baby.
Oh,
4 years.
Offensive line has improved though.
Offensive line has improved.
That's what he said.
Is it?
I don't know. How do we know that? I don't think we do know that.
I think, the biggest fundamental argument to what Dak said, talking about you played all these great run defenses, right? And everything was skewed. Who do you think you're playing at the end of every season, Dax? I mean, I'm sorry, but the path to win a title is going to be like that every single year. It is going to be, you have to go 7-3, assuming they expand the playoffs, right? And probably a 4-3 loss. If you go 7-3 against a Power 5 opponent and then 9 SEC teams to get into the playoff, where you are going to more often than not have to win 4 games against the best teams in the nation to win a title. That is the reality of what we are doing. So yes, any flaws that exist in your football team are going to be amplified during that time, during that run. It's impossible to go on a run with a flawed football team. It's impossible to not have a flawed football team when you look at the state of NIL and the money that Alabama has to spend on things. And nothing against Kalen DeBoer. Nothing against even I agree with just about everything you said about the defense. I think it'll be a great unit. I don't think it's national championship team.
Yeah, no, this year, if you made me bet one way or the other, I would definitely be betting no on this season. Now, you're probably only going to get this season and one more with Keelan Russell, whether it's Keelan on the bench or Keelan playing. And so really, I don't think that this year is your national championship year. I think I think your best hope is in the future, letting these offensive linemen develop a little bit so that you can have better success in the run game, have better success on offense, have more consistency on offense. Because I do agree with the Dax's overall premise that you're bringing in lots of big time recruits, and you are, and I do think that DeBoer has done a good job bringing in elite offensive talent, elite offensive level talent. You see that with Keelan. You see that with Cedarian Morgan. You see that with re-recruiting Ryan Williams. You see that with identifying and bringing in Lozzie Brooks. I think that there's lots of offensive skill talent across this roster right now, and you got to. I think you can safely project that to continue. You're going to continue recruiting a 5-star receiver, recruiting a top-end running back. You're going to recruit a top-end quarterback. You've done that for the last handful of seasons with Coach DeBoer. It's really about the offensive line to me, and that's too big of a question mark for me to be betting $100 on, and maybe $100 is nothing to you guys, but that's enough. That's just enough money to make me hurt a little bit. To be like, oh, I shouldn't have spent that. I could have spent that $100 on groceries or on gas. That's right about the threshold for me that would make me uncomfortable. And so the offensive line being said, I saw what we did with Michael Carroll. Michael Carroll looked good. I'm excited about Jackson Lloyd. Yes, so these are your two shining stars for The Coach DeBoer staff identified these high schoolers and brought them in, and now they're developing Michael Carroll and Jackson. Well, we got to see them continue. And they need 3 teammates. They need 3 partners. They need a couple guards. They need a couple guards and a tackle. We'll see what ends up happening with them, but you've got a good start with Lloyd and Carroll. The rest of it, I'm not really. I love me some Chris Booker, true freshman in this class. I think that could be another. Okay, you're starting to get some offensive line bodies that you were really looking for. I don't know. 3 years seems bold. I applaud Dax's boldness. I always love it, how bold he gets. I'm just not quite sold on this year being a year, especially based off A-Day. Now, obviously, a lot of things can change in the summer and the fall. But yeah, I think that with what we have seen from the offensive line over 2 seasons, that gives me a huge pause for concern, reason for concern. We'll see. It could trend in a better direction. We'll see if Chris Booker can develop. We'll see how Jackson Lloyd and Michael Carroll do in their second years in the system. But yeah, to me, the offensive line is a huge issue still.
And to that point, like, I don't think we can be looking at it in terms of individual players, if that makes sense. Like, let's say, for example, the season goes kind of the way that I thought it could for Alabama, right? Keelan Russell goes out and he shows a ton of flashes, and people are like, yes, this might be the best quarterback in college football in 2027. And Alabama goes out and has a solid season, first round CFP exit or something along those lines. The offers that Keelan Russell will be fielding, NIL-wise, are going to be outrageous, right? All of these Texas schools and all of these big brands will have crazy amounts of money
Gig 'em.
trying to throw at him.
Marcel Reed's moving on after the end of the year.
Texas Tech, I mean, you know that they'll throw anyone. And even, like, yes, Alabama goes out and is like, yeah, we need to keep our star quarterback. Well, how do you keep all the talent around him? It almost, like, it feels like the NFL now, where you see these teams sign their quarterback to a $50 million contract, and then you have to let go of so many other pieces. Like, is there ever going to be a year where everything comes together? Is it possible for everything to come together in this day and age? You know, you'll continue to bring in recruits, right? You know, guys, a 4- and 5-star will say for the foreseeable future, I want to play for Alabama. I want to play for this program. Will they stay in the program? Will you, like, it's impossible to forecast.
Yeah, it's too early.
Going to look like.
It's too early to.
And that's why I can't look at individual players and say, here's the answer, but I can look at the system as a whole and the way that things have unfolded and say, yes, I would bet money on things to continue this way, which is Alabama never being able to put together a complete enough team to go all the way. So that's where I'm at right now there.
I don't think that's completely unfair. I think it's too early to prognosticate trends with this roster under Coach DeBoer in this sense. Because I think Coach DeBoer and the Courtney Morgan philosophy is to recruit, retain, develop, retain, and send them off to the NFL. We'll pay our own. Once you prove yourself, but if you didn't prove yourself and you come to me for a raise, then you can hit the transfer portal. I think we've seen that over 2 years, but I think you need to see that more over 2 more years before we start calling it really a trend. It might have just been the last crop of guys, or these last 2 crops of two groups of players. So, like, I think you've got to get. I think you retain the 25 class pretty well. You obviously the 26 class only has had 1 portal opportunity, but you retain the 26 class really well as well. No, 24 class and the 25 class. This current freshman on the 26 class. So the last 2 classes that you brought in, your first class with DeBoer and then the first full class, I think you've retained both those pretty well, but it's still too early. Like, you haven't had enough time with the true freshmen. The Lozzie Brooks of the world only had 1 transfer portal window to go into. You only had to retain Keelan for 1 transfer portal window so far. So it's too early, in my opinion, to say that the staff is retaining who they want to retain. Now they have the last 2 cycles, I think, but you just got to stack some trends. And right now, the 2 years are the trend of the last 2 years to me is Pretty good, not good enough. Pretty good, not good enough to beat Ohio State. Not good enough to beat Indiana. Pretty good, but once you go up against the elite teams, you're getting drummed 38-3 because your offensive line, your glaring weakness is glaring in the playoffs.
I think you hit the nail on the head all right there.
Yeah. Theo Everett Osmer says, really, come on, wake up. We thought you were a better person. You were going to believe in the Tide a little bit. Theo doesn't give anybody false hope.
No crimson colored glasses here.
And then saying I'm gonna have to get a cup like Joe. I don't know what happened to my red cup. I don't know where it ended up at. I think I might have left it in a rental car during the NCAA tournament deal. So that's unfortunate.
Everett, I heard that if Alabama wins the title this year, Joe's gonna give you that cup.
This cup for the football national championship?
Yeah,
that's I can do. I
that's
can make
on the
that.
line.
I can make that deal. I can promise this cup to Everett Osmer if Alabama wins the upcoming the football national championship. Good morning, Keith Connell, joining us on the YouTube machine as well. We're talking about expectations for the next couple of years. Keith Connell, Theo said no national championship over the next 12 years. Dax is saying yes, national championship in the next 3. I think both y'all are on two opposite ends of spectrum. I think when you said meet in the middle at 7, I think that's probably surely over 7 years. The program's going to get back to the mountaintop.
What if it doesn't?
What if it doesn't? The sun will still come up.
Yeah.
It's fine. My life will be the same.
Will the lives of most people in Tuscaloosa be the same?
Oh, well, I think that's a different conversation.
Once you adjust to not being a winning program,
right?
Everything kind of starts to.
Everything falls into place. We get all in on Rob Vaughn and the baseball team.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's keep going on the voicemail machine. We've got Everett Osmer right here, 205-462-7340, extension 800.
Hey, guys. It's Everett from Marion. I know that we've been talking about football a lot, but I'm going to change it up a little bit. I was wondering, who is your favorite country music artist? And looking forward to the response, and keep up the great work. We'll follow y'all all the time. Thank you. Roll Tide.
There you go, Everett Osmer, getting us ready for Morgan Wallen, I guess, this weekend. What's your country music guy?
Country music is 90% of what I listen to.
Ooh, what you listening to?
I've been on a really big Turnpike Troubadours kick lately. Mostly, I'd say my most listened to artists right now are them and Tyler Childers. A lot of classic stuff too. George Jones, Alan Jackson. I'm all over the place country wise. Like I can throw on Morgan Wallen and the pop country and enjoy it. I can listen to just about anything.
Are you going to the concert this weekend?
The set list is so bad. Morgan Wallen put out an album in May, and it is an atrocious album. Like it is not good. It is. I enjoyed Morgan Wallen's first couple albums, and it is. This one is not good, and this one makes up
things that you're gonna find out. That's him, right?
Yeah, it is him.
Okay.
Like this one makes up basically half the set list, and I just have no interest in hearing it. So
he's already put the set list out?
Well, just from from the first couple shows of the tour.
Okay, sure.
I have no real interest in going unless it drops like $50 last minute, and I buy a ticket like right before the show starts.
Yeah, I hope that everybody has a lot of fun this weekend at Bryant Denny Stadium. I'm going to be staying away from the concert crowd. I'll say that.
Yeah. Brooks and Dunn is on the tour with them for a bunch of the shows. So if it would have been a no-brainer for me if they were going to
a little Neon Moon in Bryant Denny Stadium.
Yeah. That would go crazy.
I would, the price point for that through the roof. I would make a stupid decision for that.
Willie Nelson is going to Birmingham next week, so I'm saving my money for that one.
Oh, good choice.
I'd much
good
rather
choice.
Get to see Willie in concert.
Yeah, I think that's a strong choice. Everett, to answer your question, I like Sturgill Simpson a lot. Theo and I actually saw Jamie Johnson last fall. Was great. Was a great time. I like a lot of I like Chris Stapleton. Love me some Johnny Cash. I know that's cliche as all get out, but basically a deep voice singing some country music. You can sucker me in right there.
Been listening to all the Highwayman stuff.
Oh, good choice.
I mean, and getting really into Waylon too lately.
That's the Highwayman, incredible choice. America Remains. There's you one. I'm a big fan of that. So Everett, I appreciate your call. Everett did text me, and I'll respond to you, brother. Where to park? I have no idea where to park. I'll think about that today, Everett, and I'll shoot you a message where you should park for the concert. He's saying I will be there. That's why I asked. Yeah, I figured so. Enjoy yourself. Are you looking forward to the concert, Everett? Leave us a comment. Let us know what your favorite Morgan Wallen song is, what you're looking forward to with the concert this weekend. All
That
right,
was a good little
go
change
ahead.
up in the middle of the show. I liked it.
I do too. Yes. Look, the voicemail line's for anything. It doesn't have to be just football. It doesn't have to be just basketball, transfer portal, whatever you like. You can call us on the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800 if you want to be a part of the program like Dax and Everett. And I appreciate both those guys for serving up some topics this morning. Excuse me. Before we continue, let's go into and tell you about Purple Turtle Roofing. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacements, insurance claim support, and more. Visit them online today at 877-787, call them today at 877-787-6635 today, or visit them online at roofturtle.com. Roofing with heart, built to last. Purple Turtle Roofing. All right, we're hanging out here with Theo Fernandez in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. Everett said he is looking forward to everything this weekend with the concert and the activity. So I hope you have a great, safe time. Theo, did you watch John Gruden and Ty Simpson cutting it up this week on their QB school?
Yes, I love Gruden's QB camp, and I love Gruden as a whole. I mean, he is a great personality.
He's a great actor, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Do you really believe that he didn't know that the stumble bum play was by design?
That was bizarre to me. Like there's no way, right?
It got so much notoriety that weekend. It was look at Alabama copying the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And in his eyes, when Ty Simpson said no, that was on purpose, his eyes went bug-eyed, went bigger than the screen. He said, "No, it wasn't. I'm gonna have to call Ryan Grubb on that." What? No, you're messing with me, man. You're messing with me. He's like, "Yeah, no, it was on purpose." We're running that on the practice field, and they ultimately did.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe he didn't know that.
Did you learn anything about Ty Simpson watching this hour presentation?
No, he was the same guy he'd been all year in the press conferences. It felt kind of weird watching him talk in that way too, like in a different context. I think the only thing that moderately struck me was just how much he talked about wanting to have played in the 2024 season, right? Because that's, you obviously never heard. He didn't really talk about it much this year with us at all, but just hearing how much he clearly wanted to be out on the field, that was interesting.
Yeah, in the Oklahoma game in 2024, when things were really, really going badly, I thought, wow, this is the chance. Coach DeBoer, you need to pull Jalen Milroe out of here, really to save Jalen's confidence at that time, but give Ty Simpson a chance to save this game. And they ultimately did not do that. They let Jalen kind of die on the vine right there, and we all remember how that season ended. I thought that what we saw with Ty in this hour was everything we've known from Ty. Extremely cerebral, very good memory. I mean, you asked him about a bunch of different concepts, a bunch of different plays, a bunch of different scenarios in games, and he was able to recall everything quickly and talk about the schematics and the strategy and the whys of why Alabama was trying to do different things and the whys of why he was reading the defense in different ways. I thought it was a really good look at Ty Simpson's brain. I think that most NFL teams and most NFL GMs and most people who are watching football understand that Ty Simpson has a really high level of and really has a high understanding of offensive football. I mean, you saw it going up to the line of scrimmage, audibling every daggum play, trying to get Alabama into the right protection, into the right play. They talked about the audibles. They talked about kind of the chess matches between the defense, and Ty talked about how much he loved trying to figure out the defense and get you into the right plays. And then I don't know, did you get to the very end? Did you watch? Because you told me you made it about 45 minutes, and then to go back and finish it.
Night, yeah.
Okay. I thought those last 10 minutes were the best 10 minutes. because Gruden is just throwing out concepts. And here's the defensive look. It's cover one. And Ty Simpson is, here's the play. Here's their play. It's cover two. Well, here's the alternative. It's cover three. Here's the alternative. It's cover four. Here's the alternative. It's man match. You know, he's just trying to get him to, really trying to throw him off his kilter mentally. And Ty just continually just pivot into the next audible, into the next audible, into the next audible, and keeping really strangers on the same play because he's playing with a bunch of guys that, you know, he probably only met in the last 2 hours before the video started. So really getting a lot of strangers on the same play, calling things with authority, being decisive. I thought you saw Ty's biggest strength right there in the last part of that video.
It's funny because, like, and I watched most of these last year. I haven't watched any of the other ones this year that have come out, but no QB ever looks bad in that segment.
Sure,
right?
they're all edited up.
I do feel like Gruden maybe put more on Ty's plate than some of the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I agree. Obviously, no NFL team's going to base their decision to draft a guy off of a John Gruden video, but I think that it's pretty apparent that Ty is showing all that off at all these workouts and every time he talks to a team, and they all know that, yeah, this is what he brings to the table. So that's almost like a good taste if someone wants to see, well, or if someone's maybe doubting Ty Simpson a little and you're thinking, well, why would someone draft this guy in the first round? That's a big part of the reason right there.
Whiteboard Wizard, I don't think that there's anything a coaching staff can throw at him right now that he's not going to be able to be, oh, I'll pick this up in 2 minutes. I'll pick this up in just a short time. I think conceptually speaking and mentally speaking, he is extremely sharp. And it was cool to see that in the Gruden video because he was basically walking him through all of Alabama's biggest plays and biggest moments of the season. He talked about the Iron Bowl. He talked about the Missouri fourth down and kind of got inside the huddle a little bit, got inside Ty's kind of, got inside Ty's hard count. Did you catch what he called Caden Proctor?
Yes, I did.
What? What is... Did he know the double entendre? Surely he did.
Yeah, no, Ty, they knew exactly what he was saying when he called Caden Proctor a big gooner. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, you are. That's fine.
It's allowed to be said.
That's fine. That's nuts. Yeah. That is nuts. They show that the Caden Proctor, what was it? Goonies was the direct snap at Missouri, where he didn't get a first down. He stumbled at the goal line, right? Or it was 4th and 1, and he got the first down or something.
They ran it from the 4, and he got to like the 1.
Yeah, I think it was a first down to go to 1st and goal. Pretty sure
that sounds right.
Anyways, calls it Goonies because quote Caden Proctor is a big gooner. Don't look that up. Don't. Yeah. If you're just driving in your car and you're wondering what am I talking about, don't look that up. It's an explicit nickname for someone who has bad self-control. So that's about all I can say about that. So if I were Caden Proctor, I'd be like, "Yo, dude, what the heck? What the heck?"
Everyone just thought it was about Krispy Kreme donuts, man.
Right?
You didn't need to.
Oh, goodness gracious. So, yeah, that made me like that was probably 3/4 the way into the video. And I watched it on like 1.4 because I'm just trying to watch it. Yeah. And I go, oh, wait, what?
I did not need to say that. He went out of his way to say it in the video.
Yes.
That was probably the best moment from the episode.
Oh, for sure. So you can watch that on YouTube, find it on, Gruden's Quarterback Camp, that sort of thing. You can find it. It's right at an hour. I watched it on 1.4 and ended up with watching about 40 minutes or so.
Every Alabama fan will enjoy it though. I mean, it was a great walkthrough. Like even like them talking about the Georgia game, right? And Gruden was really glazing the 4th down call to Jam Miller, which, yes, it was a cool play call. But, Ty said they were sitting on that for 2 years. That was interesting to me.
They said that after the game.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said, "Oh, we've had that in for a while. Just needed to break glass in case of emergency. Break glass."
It was an enjoyable. I don't regret sitting down and watching.
No, I don't either. I thought it was a good inside look at Ty Simpson and a nice little recap. Shoot, it was a lot of what we've heard through the year, but it was a little more relaxed and a little more open with John Gruden. So it was nice to kind of have Ty Simpson walking through. He said he was 195 by the time the Rose Bowl was happening. So, woof, mercy. He gave a nice story. I mean, that was a nice story of Ty cracking his ribs in the Rose Bowl, being in the tent, and Coach DeBoer coming in there and them having an emotional moment. So I thought it was a nice hour. If you're looking for something to pass, look, it's the doldrums right now. Next week is the draft, and it's about to be
Real empty.
real dry here. Let's keep going here with the draft and with the prospects of it, and let's talk about Dane Brugler's 7-round mock draft. Last week we talked about what Brugler said about Proctor, about Brailsford, about Jeremy Bernard, and Ty Simpson. This week he puts out his mock draft. It's 7 full rounds. It's on The Athletic. You can find it right there. I am just going to highlight the Alabama players. Starting at number 23, he has Caden Proctor going to your favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Henry Scalar. Welcome, Caden Proctor.
For Caden Proctor's career, going to the Eagles is as good as it gets, right? I mean, you know that Caden Proctor is going to be a great tackle with Philadelphia. As a Giants fan, I don't want to have to watch, Caden Proctor dominate my guys for a decade right now. Like, come on. For Proctor, if I'm Proctor and I see that mock draft, it's like, please send me to Philly. They're so good at developing these guards, man. These tackles, and they're also like they have the ability to change a guy to guard. Mekhi Becton, who they just recently moved to guard, and it worked out. So if Proctor ends up in Philadelphia, he will be a good NFL football player.
I think that that's a safe place for him to land that will nurture him and keep him at a good playing weight and develop him into a real professional. I would love that for him personally. I think that's a good fit for him. A strong organization.
Lane Johnson is still playing, right?
I think they're still waiting on a decision, but yes, he is playing.
It almost like
I think it's a waiting in the wing situation.
Well, how many rookie tackles get the luxury of not needing to play right away like that? Caden Proctor, if anyone could benefit from maybe a year not playing football, it's Proctor. It's the guy who already has the experience and who could spend a year just fully polishing things up. I think it makes sense for both parties.
23. That'd be the first Alabama player off the board. So that would make for a late or a Thursday night for everybody who's watching for the Alabama players. But that's okay. You can go to bed right after. Actually, you can't. The Bears are picking at 25.
You can't go to bed right after because even if Ty goes early, like you're still going to be holding out. Like, oh, maybe Germ goes. Maybe. I don't think you're going to bed until 32 if you want to. For seeing an Alabama fan go to. Or seeing Alabama guy go.
Brugler says you can go to bed because his next pick is 34 on Friday. The second pick on Friday, he has Ty Simpson going to the Arizona Cardinals, continuing his take from last week that won't go in the top 16. Ty Simpson, second overall pick in the second round. You like him to the Arizona Cardinals, though? Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride.
What's their line like? I have no clue.
I don't have a clue either. Let's find out.
I mean, that's such a big piece of it. Yeah, you have weapons, right? McBride will be Simpson's best friend as far as, that guy's just a complete package.
They signed Kendrick Bourne. Let's see. They have Paris Johnson, left tackle, first-round draft pick 2023. They have Isaac Simalo from Pittsburgh Steelers. They have, I'm not going to say his name, Halit Forhold from the Browns, Isaiah Adams, third-round pick from 2024, and Elijah Wilkinson from the Falcons. So a lot of patchwork pieces on the offensive line.
And I like Mike LaFleur as a guy for Ty to go and get to work with. I wouldn't.
Tyler Algier, James Conner, Trey Benson. You got like a bunch of B-plus running backs.
I don't hate the landing spot at all, especially, new coach looking to build around his guy, right? Like you have a regime that's just come in. So, Ty is tied to these guys. I would like it as a landing spot.
Now, here's your perfect landing spot. Can you imagine at pick number 58, Jeremy Bernard playing 10 years for the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan, they're going to use him so well.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they're going to use him so well. They have him. This is still the second round. Jeremy Bernard going to the San Francisco 49ers to play with Brock Purdy and them boys.
No, that one makes all the sense in the world, right? And because you're moving on from Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, so it's Jennings and Pearsall. And then Jerem slides in as that's a good.
He becomes Debo
receiving
Jr.
trio.
He becomes the second coming of Debo a little bit because of what he can do in the run game.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
That's what I think the
They'll
fit
use
is.
him in those ways.
That's what I think the fit is completely. He'll operate in the slot some and block, get nasty in the blocking and the run because you can't play for the 49ers if you don't block, and he's gonna block. And then he's able to be used in the run game. I love that fit like a lot.
German Purdy will be best friends.
Oh,
out
yeah.
there like it does make a lot of sense.
Go ahead and draft him in your dynasty leagues because that's going to be a hit for 8 years.
I would like as far as German, want him to have a nice career. Niners would be as good as it gets. I
For-
feel like.
If you're an offensive player, sign me up to play for Kyle Shanahan any day of the week. Continuing on, it's going to be a long third round. No Alabama players in the third round for Dane Brugler. Skipping ahead to 104 overall in the fourth round, the Arizona Cardinals take LT Overton. So we didn't talk about any defensive players last week because he didn't have any really ranked that highly. LT Overton becomes your first Alabama defensive player. And geez, the double-sided topic here. LT's fit with the Cardinals and a second Alabama player, right? But the fact that this Alabama defense was pretty deadgum good, top 8, 10 in the country, and doesn't have a pick until the fourth deadgum round.
Yeah, speak about the amount of talent that's existing and returning, right? Now, part of that is a guy like Domani Jackson, who people thought would be drafted higher. A guy in Deontay Lawson, who, yes, obviously the injury is part of it, but at one point was supposed to be drafted higher. But now you're turning a ton of talent there. I'm not super high on LT. Never really have been. I know you've echoed that sentiment. It does feel like he's probably one of those guys that, because I think he's still mocked in the third round by most people. If he feels like one of those guys that probably falls to day 3.
Yep, but look, just getting an opportunity, you become a fourth-round draft pick, you can make a great career out of that and have a great time out in Arizona.
You already have a built-up friend there in Ty Simpson.
That's right. That's your best buddy, I'm sure. Skipping ahead, that's the only fourth-round pick on this mock draft for the Crimson Tide. So you can space out your Saturday. You can get there for the LT pick and do some errands, do some chores around the house next Saturday. But then at 150, you're going to want to be back in front of the TV because Dane Brugler has the New Orleans Saints taking Justin Jefferson with the 150th overall pick.
150. That's early round 5.
That is about nine picks into round 5.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, I just don't think Jefferson's big, strong enough to be taken much higher than that, right? And we know the speed exists.
But I think Jefferson becomes the longest tenured defensive player in this class for Alabama. Plays longer than Tim Keenan, plays longer than LT Overton, plays longer than Deontay Lawson, than Domani Jackson. I think his career lasts longer than the others.
Wow. Huh.
I think if you can cover, if you can run, which Jefferson can. Now, obviously, look, the athleticism only takes you to a point, and then once you reach a point and you're at a certain age, it goes away quickly. But I think his athleticism will make him pretty valuable and keep him around the league.
Yeah, that's why I kind of disagree, because if he's the longest tenured player, then no one's gonna have a really long career.
Yes, 6 years, 7 years.
6 years for Justin. What is he? 23, probably right now.
That's a good guess. Now, he was an older player in college because of his time with junior college. That's probably a good guess.
Justin Jefferson, Alabama. He is, of course, ESPN doesn't show how old the guy is. Worldwide leader in sports for you. NFL profile will have him. I'm really bad at this.
Yes, you are. He is. Well, he was. Wikipedia doesn't have it either. Great. So he is age unknown.
Age unknown.
Pearl River Community College in 2021 is his first.
Yeah, so he's probably 23.
Right.
So that's a 6-year career, right? I mean, that's just the speed is gonna disappear fast once you come to 30.
But I think the same thing for a lot of the other, are the other defensive players going to last 6 years?
A 6-year career is double the league average.
Exactly.
So let's, first of all, that's nothing,
exactly.
That's nothing to scoff
I'm not
at.
trying to boot him out of the league early.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that something bad's going to happen to him. 6 years is a good career, but I do think that 6 or 7 years is probably where he's going to end up. And then you look at the rest of the defensive class, and I don't know. Think extremely highly of Tim Keenan and Deontay Lawson as people, as players, hard workers, leaders. Yes, but are they going to play 7 years? You give me $100 and say I have to bet on it. I'd say no.
We're doing a lot of betting today.
Well, hypothetical betting, because I don't like to lose money, so I only like to hypothetically gamble. Because shoot, even if it's $2, if we bet on a game and it's $2, I'll give you that $2 back, Theo. But I'm going to be dog cussing myself the whole time. That guy, if only he'd have caught that one pass, if that referee would have made that one call, I'm screwed. And it's like, I can't gamble. I can't be doing that.
I'm right there with you.
I can't be doing that. Skip on ahead, 153. Come on, Dane Brugler. Why are we doing this? At 153, still in the 5th round, he has Tim Keenan going to the Green Bay Packers as his next Alabama selection.
A little surprised Keenan's that high, or higher than some of the other. No, he had a rough combine, but
he's a nose tackle. You need a nose tackle.
You do need a nose tackle. You need someone to swallow up all Chicago's runs.
Oh, I hope not, but you're right. I mean, nose tackle is a valuable position, I believe.
Yes.
Somebody to eat up the blocks. And who's that? Quay Walker? Right. If you get Tim Keenan to play in front of Quay Walker, that's going to raise Quay Walker's game. And I do think Tim Keenan is going to be a good pro, but stick with my take. I think 5-6 year career for Tim Keenan.
I feel like Keenan's a guy who, like, the upside is there for him to stick around, right? You see some nose tackles put together long careers because it's a lot less about athleticism. Not that it's not about athleticism, but I'd love to see Keenan succeed in the league, man. Hopefully works out there.
Yeah, we'll see how he can do. I'm looking at this defensive. Andrew Billings is 31, 4th round draft pick. He's still playing, but he's bouncing around a bunch of teams. He's bouncing around a bunch, and that might be Tim Keenan's future as well. And if you're bouncing around a bunch of teams, you're still getting paid. So good for you. On into the 6th round, man. Were the Arizona Cardinals? Did you notice them at Alabama Pro Day? Were they here?
I'm sure they were, but I didn't know, nothing.
It wasn't like every Cardinals person in the front office.
Every team was there at Pro Day. I think JD Zaza confirmed.
Because skipping ahead into the 6th round is the next Alabama pick, and it's at 183. The Arizona Cardinals taking Parker Brailsford. Three Alabama players who went to the Cardinals.
Well, it makes sense to give Ty as center, right, for camp like that. If you want to draft some offensive line depth, may as well get someone your QB's familiar with. I like that pick.
I like that pick as well. And Parker, the Bears need center. The Bears need a center. So a 4th, 5th, 6th round pick if Parker is there. I'm seeing Jake Slaughter and Connor Liu also as options for Chicago. But Parker, we would love to have you.
Jake Slaughter is so good.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with all that. Skipping on ahead, we're still in the 6th round, and we are going back to Philadelphia as they're taking Damani Jackson with 197 overall.
Can Philly please stop taking Alabama players? I'm sick and tired of it, man.
I mean, it's not only Alabama players, it's Alabama defensive backs. Recently, Eli Ricks and Josh Jobe went to Philly. Now, Josh Jobe moved on, but
it's got to stop, man. You got to chill.
It's working out for them. They'll take a disgruntled Alabama defensive back. I mean, Eli Ricks wasn't always making positive headlines here in Tuscaloosa, but worked out in the NFL. Josh Jobe, injury issues his last year in Tuscaloosa. Good player, but injury issues. They took him. Damani Jackson, soft benching his last year. We'll take you. Seems a little thematic there.
Like Damani feels like a guy to me who could completely turn it around.
Oh, yeah.
As far as you've got, this guy was legitimately talked about as a day 1 pick at a point in time. You got everything physically that you need to succeed. Really, I could see the right team turning him into, oh wow, here's a corner in year 1, year 2 who's coming in on some real big packages for us and making plays.
Skipping on down to 225, we'll roll right up the interstate and go to Nashville as the Tennessee Titans are taking Deontay Lawson at 225. Becomes a 7th round draft pick.
So where do we land on all the physical stuff with Lawson as far as like the evaluations just weren't good, or?
Well, I think there's pretty high concern about long-term medical. I think he's fine to play tomorrow if you want to play tomorrow, but if you're drafting a guy, I think there's still pretty high concerns about long-term medical, and I still think there's concerns about his physicality in the run game. I think he is still a really good athlete. I think he improved this year physically, sideline to sideline. But I think there's still pretty big concerns. I think you watch the last couple of years of him on tape, and there's a lot of guessing gaps, jumping gaps, and guessing gaps instead of physically owning a gap, which is basically the difference between an elite linebacker and not. So I think he was a nice B+ player as far as on the field. I think he was a great leader. I think he was a great leader and very important for the program during the time of transition. I don't want to speak really anything negatively about Deontay as a person, but I would be pretty hesitant to take a risk on him as an NFL team.
Fair.
You continue on. I think it's the last pick for Alabama at 244. The Minnesota Vikings are taking Josh Cuevas to add him into their offense.
And that is what is known as a steal right there.
Oh, don't do that.
Josh Cuevas is going to be an NFL player. He's going to find a way to get onto a team, and he's going to be Mr. Reliable for that team. And don't know what capacity it'll be, but as a tight end too, he's there. He is doing enough for you blocking wise. He's getting open on a big third down that makes every opposing fan throw something in their living room. I like Josh Cuevas too.
Does Kyler Murray turn Josh Cuevas into Trey McBride?
I forgot Kyler was on the Vikings now. Wow.
Calamari. Or does Josh Cuevas turn J.J. McCarthy into a viable NFL quarterback? Or does Josh Cuevas revive Carson Wentz's NFL career?
I cannot believe that is a real quarterback for him. Wow. Wow.
I hope the Bears play them in week 1, week 2, whatever. Early.
That is a fascinating QB room.
And it seems like it's not Stefanski. It is Stefanski.
Yeah,
it is Stefanski. It seems like Stefanski, no quarterback competition. It's Kyler Murray's job.
I would do the same. I mean, Kyler, the talent is there, but
let Kyler Murray play for 4 weeks, then throw McCarthy in there then throw Wentz in there for 3 weeks, and then McCarthy can finish up the last 10.
9.
Yeah, exactly. Josh Cuevas, he would I don't know that I don't know that I see him making a huge offensive impact, but being reliable, yes, I do think he'd be extremely reliable. And I think that he'd make the game day rosters. He'd make the game day rosters, and I think that he would probably have about a dozen catches on the year.
It's a pretty good way to start your career.
Yeah, dozen catches, about 115 yards and a touchdown in his rookie year.
It's a solid output.
There we go. All right. Anybody that you just hate the fit, anybody you don't agree with, anybody that was way too low or way too high, or do you like, are you stamping your approval on Dane Brugler's 7-round mock draft?
You guys know exactly where I stand on Ty Simpson. He will not be a 2nd-round draft pick. I am sticking with he will be a top 16 pick. There's a world where maybe he falls outside the top 16. If you really want to play that game, he will not fall out of the 1st round. Plain and simple. 8 days until the draft, right?
I can't believe that. I can't wait. We on Believe in Monsters last night, our Bears podcast, we went through the first 4 picks in the 3 rounds for the Bears and who we want them to kind of go after. So I'm getting all excited. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to cook next week. I usually make the draft weekend a pretty big weekend in the kitchen.
Really?
So I'm going to try to figure that out this week. And really get excited about it. We'll see. I'll throw my Colson Loveland jersey on, and we'll see who the next member of the Bears family is. You got your. He has Caleb Downs going to your Giants.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but like, I'm pretty high on Styles right now.
Sonny
I would be
Styles.
Even higher on a trade down and accumulate assets, which would have been a lot easier to do if you were number 1 overall. But no, we have to win some football games for the millionth year in a row.
We gotta let Jackson Dart get some experience, get some confidence going.
Not happy about it. Anyway, I wouldn't. My Caleb Downs is going to be a phenomenal NFL player. Remember how much we played the who will be drafted first, Caleb Downs or Caden Proctor?
Seems pretty obvious at this point, right?
And like there was safeties don't go in the top 10 very often. Caleb Downs is that special of a player.
He seems like it for sure. He seems like he's going to hear his name called early next week. Theo, I think that's going to do it for us today. Let's get on out of here. Let's say goodbye to the people. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll get started on Alabama and Texas. We'll keep talking mock draft. We'll keep talking NFL stuff, all kinds of football topics. We'll take your voicemails at 205-462-7340, extension 800. You can talk about Morgan Wallen. If you want to talk about this concert coming up this week, we'll let you know about the basketball transfer portal, who Alabama is shopping for and who they're going to be watching to lose, hopefully the next couple of days. So it's going to be a big rest of the week right here on the Joe Gaither Show, right here on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.